The Life of Elizabeth I by Madame Garza. Okay, so my presentation is on Elizabeth I, who is basically one of the dopest queens alive, and I'm here to explain why. Let's start off with her early life. So she was born September 7th in 1533 in London to King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. King Henry VIII already had a daughter before named Mary, and we'll get back to her. And so now he had the daughter Elizabeth I. So King Henry VIII really only wanted a son so that he could take his place as king when he grew up. So learning that he had a second daughter pretty much pissed him off and made him hate his wife and also Elizabeth. So then when Elizabeth was only 2, Anne was executed by accusations, some rumor that they are false, and either way, she died. So then Anne and King Henry VIII's marriage basically became null, which meant Elizabeth was put further down the line than she should have been. Then, later on, King Henry VIII dies in 1547 at 55 years old, and a lot of people believe it was because he was pretty chonky. And then after that, her little brother Edward, who was only 9 at the time, mind you, reigned for only 6 years, and then he died of tuberculosis. Edward really kind of didn't rule. It was pretty much his uncle. He was way too young to rule. Then after that, Mary came to reign England, and so she was a mess. She killed a whole bunch of people because she wanted them to be Catholic, and she even got the nickname Bloody Mary. She was pretty bad. Funnily enough, her reign was actually shorter than Edward, even though he was younger, and it was just 5 years. After that, Elizabeth I came to the throne in 1558, and just some other things to know is she was super smart. She knew 5 different languages. She was taught by all these famous teachers. When she became queen, she was only 25 years old. She was really, really good, especially compared to Mary, who was absolutely horrible. And so she ruled during the Golden Age because a lot of people prospered. And she was also looked towards salvation, especially since Mary was bad. She was just horrible. And another thing that made her an instant hit was she was super nice at the coronation. She stopped for even the peasants, and she accepted the compliments. She's just super nice. One of the first things that she came to do was basically set the framework for the Catholic Church. For Mary, she kind of was everybody has to be Catholic, blah, blah, blah. But Elizabeth was hey, you can be Protestant, you can be Catholic, just you do you, boo. When she first became queen, a lot of people were just hey, are you gonna marry? There was this whole thing. It was ooh, I want to be your husband. And she was just I'm okay. She actually never ended up marrying, and neither did she have kids. And then she also ruled for 45 years, which is so cool. So her accomplishments. One of the main things she is most noted for is the defeat of the Spanish Armada, which is arguably one of England's greatest military achievements. So just that alone tells you Elizabeth was doing pretty great. Another thing was Elizabethan religious settlement, which pretty much is religious tolerance. She got a whole bunch of policies that helped out the economy. She provided a period of stability. She oversaw English exploration. And she's even considered one of the greatest monarchs in English history. Mind you, she's a woman. All these other people were men, and she was just hey, what's up? I'm just gonna be really good at my job because, I'm cool. And so we're on to the next one. Queen's quotes. Elizabeth I, snaps. So she had so many good quotes that I'm just okay, Queen, pop off. So I want to read some of them. I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too. So she's yo, I may be a woman, but to hell with that and all the stereotypes. I'm gonna be the best one out there, and she was. Another one is, though the sex to which I belong is considered weak, you will nevertheless find me a rock that bends to no wind. So once again, she was to hell with you and your gender roles. I'm gonna be dope as hell. I'm gonna be the strongest person you know, and suck it. Another one is, I would rather be a beggar and single than a queen and married. She snapped. She really just said, I don't need no man. She said, I would rather be dirt poor and live the single life than be a queen and married because, I'm the frickin' queen. The last one I love is God Forgive You, But I Never Can. She snapped. She was like, yo, God, he may forgive you, but I can't. Her death. It was very sad, actually. So she died March 24th, 1603 in Richmond Palace in England. A lot of people are confused about her cause of death because she never allowed for the post-mortem. A lot of people say it was cancer. A lot of people say it was like smallpox. You know, she was 69 years old. Like, she was getting there. And, you know, she lived it up. She was really amazing. She was deeply mourned by her subjects. All of them missed her. She was the last Tudor monarch to rule. Her last words were, all my possessions for a moment of time, which basically means I would give everything for just a little bit more time. She was profound. So, yes, that's basically the end of my presentation. I think Elizabeth is the dopest woman alive. As you can see, her swag is just too much.